now we are recording. So we have called to attention at 6:43, no quorum as of yet. So welcome back is the first order of business. Thank you for coming. Adopting the agenda. We'll take a look at the agenda. We will now take any agenda items that we want to add to the agenda tonight. Ms. Caldwell, you have something?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I'm also on Community Board 9. How's everybody? I hope you had a great summer vacation. The addition I would like to add is on the corner of 150th Street and Convent Avenue.
Yes, it's on our list.
And I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent, Ms. Caldwell. That's in our developments we are watching section in old business. It's on my list. I don't put every single one of them, but that's in my notes.
Right.
but it's on there. Yeah. Thanks, Ms. Caldwell. Anybody else have any additions to the agenda? Want to make sure that it is on?
Hi, Liz. This is Edwin.
Hi,
Liz,
Edwin.
I have seen in the community that we have been noticing more and more scaffolding. Can DOB give us a breakdown of how many scaffold do we have proportional to the area in the community? And second, can they also provide the average age, the mean median mode of all these scaffolding? Because this is a problem that we're seeing all throughout the city, but I'm noticing more and more in our community, and they're not being worked on.
So Edwin, before we get into a deep conversation, we're just adding items to the agenda right now. So can we perhaps talk a little bit more in depth about this under new business?
Yes, I'm sorry, I just logged in. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, we're just taking additions to agenda items right now. And we're going to add scaffolding discussion. And I believe that Mark Levine did a scaffolding push thing to it then. All right, so we'll add that. Anything else to add to the agenda? Hey, we just got a couple more committee members. Hello, Juan. Hello, Annette. Hi.
This is Lois Penny. I'd like to add that 600 block of West 138th Street has become a parking lot for stolen vehicles. There are 5 vehicles with no plates, no identification. And from what I'm hearing, it's from a car dealership associated with and the owner is associated with one of the restaurants. And rather than paying parking, he brings the vehicles into the block and leaves them until they're sold. Every time they're tagged for removal, they come out and remove the markings.
Okay, I'm going to add that under new business. 138th and what?
Between Broadway and 12th Avenue.
Okay. Anything else to add to the agenda? That's all we're doing right now. No? Okay, so I've added those 2 items to discuss a little further. Claremont Theater. Oh, yes. Thank you. That was first mentioned, so it doesn't matter when we do it. All right. Theater. Okay. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a quorum in person. So we would like to now call this meeting officially to order at 6:47. And we are going to take a vote or ask for a motion for that.
So moved.
So moved? Second. Okay, so Clayton and Liz, thank you. And so now with all those additions, we'd like to adopt the agenda as well.
Second.
Annette? And I'll second. Yeah. Okay. Minutes, if the committee members received the minutes by email and had a chance to look, if anybody had any edits, now would be the time to mention it. I can take a look and pop it up on the screen real quick as well. And then we'll get the business part done. Sometimes I switch my words. All right. Minutes from June.
I was realizing how long the meeting was.
None of that tonight.
Nope, we're also, I'll make an announcement about that real quick because we agree. Minutes from June, sure. These are the minutes from June, well taken by Clayton, thank you. If you didn't have a chance to look at it yet, please take a look and those of us on the committee, it was sent by email. So hopefully you took a look in advance. Are there any additions, edits, things to bring up on the June minutes?
I'll move to adopt the meeting minutes.
I will second. Thanks. Okay. So sure. Okay, so some of the necessary business done. So tonight's meeting, we are hoping, because we know there is a big event on TV tonight. We know some people want to get home in time to attend and watch, so we're gonna try and get out of here by 8:30. That is our goal. If you are here in person, please go have a snack, have some fruit, have some falafel, have some coffee, have some tea. Help yourself. We're gonna keep moving on, but please help yourself to anything you see over there and help us eat it, so I don't have to take all the fruit salad home. Official welcome back. Oh yes, it's lying on the screen now that we're having a debate tonight. Okay. Okay. All right, so welcome back. We would like to make introductions. We have a couple of new members. And we want to make sure all the community board members are accounted for. Hi, I'm Signe. I'm the co-chair of Housing, Land Use and Zoning, along with my co-chair,
Liz.
she's simple.
It's simple.
We both-
It's like Beyonce, I'm just Liz.
You go, Liz.
There we go. I love it. And we'll go on with the people in the room here, and if there's community board members online, we'll take you after. Clayton, introduce yourself.
I'm Clayton. I'm a new member. I'm a second year member of Community Board 9, the first year member of Housing, Land Use and Zoning Committee. And I was here all last year, so I'm
Welcome
excited to be
officially.
formal.
We celebrate that you are here with us.
And I just moved into a new place on 141st Street and
Okay.
got some help from people on the committee getting tips about buildings. So I'm very excited to be back and to
Did not
also no
want
longer
to
be affiliated with Columbia.
I love it. Love it. Excellent. Right behind you.
Annette Robinson, good evening, everyone. Welcome. A member of Housing, Land Use and Zoning, along with landmark preservation and parks, lifelong resident, and I don't know, 13 years on the community board. But glad to see all of you and glad to be here.
Thank you. Juan,
I'm Juan Pomnar. I'm a teacher at Randolph, April Randolph, and I lived in Harlem since 1993.
excellent.
And that's about it.
And you've been on now, what, 2 years?
Yeah,
I think it's been 2 years.
yeah,
All right,
yeah, 2 years.
celebrating 2 years. All right, and we do have a guest in the room, Vanessa.
Yes, Vanessa Clark.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in person. I don't see our other new member though, Divine White,
No.
Divine Essence White. Not-
Vanessa is also a member of the community board.
Yes, oh, okay, please, tell us what committee you're on. Seniors. Are you supposed to be at seniors tonight, or are you
No,
supposed
that
to?
was today.
It was, okay, because we had someone come in and say that it was supposed to be tonight.
Oh, I think that was a misprint.
Oh, interesting. Yikes, okay, you missed it then. Well, thank you, Vanessa, for coming tonight. Who do we have online? Jared, Patricia, Jared, Heather, I see Heather.
Yeah.
So Ms. Caldwell, if you want to officially introduce yourself and tell us what committee you're on, or committees, please do so. And if Ms. Caldwell is indisposed, how about Heather Jason?
I'm sorry. Patricia
Oh, that's
Caldwell. Okay, I'm gonna repeat. Hello, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful summer. My name is Patricia Caldwell. I am a member of Parks and Landmarks with Heather and with the Senior Action Committee, which met 11:30 this afternoon, along with Vanessa, who is there in that meeting. I'm a member of Community Board 9, and this is my 3rd year.
Wonderful. And then Heather Jason.
Hi, I'm co-chair of Landmarks Preservation and Parks, and also Health and Environment, and I've been on the community board for 5 years.
Amazing. Happy 5th. All right, so I'm gonna put the agenda back on the screen. Any other community board members online? And then we'll go to our public members. I know Jared's on the line. Say hi, Jared.
Hello, Jared. Hi.
Hi.
Should I say, how are you? I'm Jared, public member, maybe about 3 years. I live at 148th and Riverside.
Thank you. The chat up. Any other public members or community board members on the call?
Yes. Sorry. My name is Bobby Willis. I'm a recent hire for Senator Cordell Clare, working in her office at Adam Clayton Powell office building.
Thank you, Bobby. Yes, and yes, moving along to any representatives of elected officials on the line or agencies of New York City. Who do we have? I know I saw, let's see. I saw Audrey. Hi, Audrey.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Audrey's with DCP, which is Department of.
Yes, sorry.
We know you so well, Audrey, I know, but not everybody knows who you are, so we saw a lot of Audrey last year.
Nice to meet everyone virtually.
Yes, and I see, do we have a representative from Al Taylor is here? Usman?
Yes, my name is Usman Diallo. I'm the legislative coordinator and constituent liaison for Assemblymember Al Taylor, and it's a pleasure to be here today.
Excellent. Thank you. Are there any other representatives of city agencies or elected officials on the line so we know you're here? Excellent. Then I just see Ilana has walked into the room. Hi, Ilana. Yeah, it's okay. We had a quorum before you got here, so we're good. But just say who you are.
Ilana Mercado, member of the committee and also the Arts and Culture Committee.
Thank you, Ilana. All right, so that is good. So we've got Clayton, who's new member, but old member because he's been here a while, and we're looking for Divine Essence White. I haven't seen her, but that's our new member. And Barry's on the way. Barry's on the way. So hopefully we get our new member up and running soon. All right, Liz, you want to take a few items?
Sure. So, next on the agenda is presentations and announcements. We have no presentations for the month of September. Sort of feels odd, but we'll take it.
We're still getting in the groove. October, I feel like we'll have a lot.
It's like feast or famine. Hopefully, Audrey, you guys are a little quieter. We appreciate the quiet time.
Yeah, we're definitely much quieter than when we last spoke before summer recess. So that feels good.
It does feel like last year was consumed by City of Yes, and so hopefully we can get back to some of the much more local issues and developments that we're watching and things. So yes.
So next on the next agenda item is new business discussions. I will take the first one, and then it's announcement about the Claremont Theater. If you don't know the Claremont Theater, it is an old movie theater on the southeast corner of Broadway and 135th Street. It is one of really just, I think it's two theaters that still exist from the 1920s in our neighborhood. And the Claremont Theater happens to be one of also only a few individual landmarks in the district. So during landmarks preservation and parks subcommittee last week, there was a notice by the Landmarks Preservation Commission that they were denying a request for a permit to alter the front facade of that building. After the meeting, a few of us walked over to the theater. It happens to be 1 block from here. And those changes have been made. I guess, Jared, since you're on the call, you'll hear this too. So it looks like the changes that were denied by Landmarks have already been made. So nothing really for this thing to do, but Landmarks Preservation and Parks will be discussing this issue during our October committee meeting with the thought that we are going to write a letter to Landmarks to make them aware that these changes have been made.
I can let our violations officer know. I can email her right now. If you have photos, that would be great. If you want to describe the work.
Jared, do I have your phone number?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, because I can just text them to you because I took pictures.
And then I'll forward them to violations and they'll do the research on it.
Okay, great.
That'll be great, Jared. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right.
So next under new business, scaffolding discussion.
Okay. So, no, Edwin.
Edwin.
Edwin, you brought this up. So my understanding, now, does anyone remember Mark Levine did some research and or kind of work on scaffolding in the neighborhood and scaffolding in the city, and there was a big, project that he put together on that.
I just took a look. I didn't see any numbers as far as like how much there is in every neighborhood, but
Yeah.
it seems like it's more of like a statement.
Yeah. So it's more of a statement of here's the things that we want to see done with scaffolding
And
and changes to be
yeah.
made. So Edwin, we would like to find out from, maybe the city has this information. If there is a tally of how many are up in our neighborhood, I feel like we're gonna get a no to that, but that always doesn't hurt to ask. And that's also, it's part housing, but it's also part like.
This is what you were remembering.
Yeah.
Taking action against Manhattan scaffolding epidemic. It's from Mark Levine from February 1st of this year.
Yeah, so Mark Levine it was basically a rundown of the situation of scaffolding in the city and it's gotten out of hand and if it stays up forever and all of this.
So we've seen these lists, and the press coming out from the city and elected officials. However, the issue only gets worse. And what we are noticing is that they just stay in for longer and longer. No work is being done. Some of the big landlords, the really big ones around in our community, they also own the scaffolding company. And this is a problem, right? Because there's no incentive for you to try to get it off. And that comes at a cost, for many issues that scaffolding bring. The benefit is that these buildings, they need it so we can, provide safety, but they're not doing the work. 5 years, I know the one in 141st has been around for at least 5 years. It's going to go on the 6th birthday. We're planning to do a celebration with balloons and everything, just so we can call attention to the city. But the city should pay attention because when you walk around other communities in the city, I know this is a pervasive issue, but in certain places in the city, they are more attentive to try to get them done and trying to get the work done. So we shouldn't be discriminated by the city because we live in Harlem, because we live in West Harlem. We should be treated just like everyone else and making sure that this issue gets addressed and that folks who have them, they also get the work done.
Yeah. Have we ever done any sort of reso towards this issue?
I just searched for it in my email. I couldn't find it. in my-
Well, maybe it's something we need to think about as an action item for a reso on this matter in particular. And try and get some numbers for our neighborhood.
I just found a couple things that I could.
What'd you find, Clayton?
I found one study which is like using visual data to try and like identify how much there is and it quantifies it by district. But then also there's also like a data set which is by the New York City government that you can look at directly. Where you could just like, look at a table of like how much scaffolding is up to begin in that given neighborhood.
Yeah.
So like it would take a little bit of time to dig into, but it's there.
Interesting. Okay. We can also reach out to DOB, see if we get any answers. That's always fun.
I feel like we did something.
And I also,
It might have been a problem.
Yeah, and that is recollecting a long time ago, maybe we had a reso or an action item regarding all the scaffolding. It's not a new problem, right?
I'm willing to be wrong.
Because it would be worth it to relook at that again and update it if we wanna, now that we're post COVID and all of these things.
Yeah, we could double check the
All right, thank you, Edwin. I know you've spoken about this before and thank you for keeping on it.
yeah, and we should have the spin also about the disparity. That's the only, look at other community, not only ours.
Right.
Because that's, we can see how the city is not paying attention to issues in our community. This affects also our businesses, right? Our local mom and pop shop, they're also get affected when they don't have good visibility. This also, creates an issue for safety. And many of the players who have them up, they don't live in this community. So it's up to us to hold the city accountable, to make sure they enforce the law. I just sent the article where the city gives a summons. Obviously, since 2019 up until today, the summons are not enough to get these folks moving.
And one of the things that we talked about with City of Yes was the fact that the city agencies are not able to follow up on a lot of things, and there needs to be more resources to allow them to actually follow up on complaints and follow up on these things. So that's all within some of what we were addressing last year too. And yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Next, under new business, I believe, Patricia, we are at 138th and Broadway. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's Lois.
Yeah, so Lois, I see you put in the chat that it's illegal parking of a parking lot for stolen, it's a parking lot that has stolen cars. Has the precinct been alerted, and is there do you know anything about the precinct being aware of that?
Yeah, we have made the precinct aware. And when I say it's a parking lot, I mean the block is being used as a parking lot for stolen cars.
Got it, the street itself.
And Lois, this is the street that goes down to 12th Avenue.
Yeah.
It's the unique street.
It's like from here down. Yeah.
I think the first time I ever drove down that street, I thought I was hallucinating. It's such a strange block.
Yeah, so there's like 5 cars now. And whenever they're tagged to be towed, somebody comes out and removes all the markings and the tags. So we have that black truck that has been here 2 months.
Yeah.
So Lois, when did this start?
Let me see, when did I notice it? Before I went on vacation, the end of June.
So it sounds in the scheme of things, that's relatively new, and the NYPD definitely, it might be on it already, so we should follow up, and that's more the committee for that would be uniform services.
We talked about it on Monday.
You did, oh, okay, so Lois, that's pretty directly in the NYPD bucket, so.
She should connect to someone and talk to them.
Yeah, so.
And I have reached out to them as well, and also sent them a picture of the person removing the markings off the car.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, Solomon and Carolyn would be the ones to also help.
And Lois, remember Joyce, if I'm not mistaken, is the president of the.
She's yeah, I'm on it as well, but I'm a secretary of sort, but
Yeah,
but
I
yeah, but
attend the meeting.
indirect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're aware of it. We just, if we need to put pressure on it, we need to put pressure on it, but I would
And
ask.
the report that I'm getting is the people associated with a Flora restaurant that are bringing the cars in.
Got it. All right, so let's make sure Carolyn and Solomon also, it sounds like they talked about it at their meeting as well, so the right people are involved, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So moving on to old business, I think, if Robert Stern, is still with us, we, will move, MHCC updates, to the top of the list. I feel bad that you're always all down at the bottom and, you're here.
If you're here, we can always move.
Right, right.
Excuse me, Liz, this is Patricia Cole. I just wanted to ask, you already had the one that I had mentioned included in new business, or is that in old business?
We're gonna, do it under, developments we are watching under C.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right here.
Yep.
Okay. I see. Thanks.
Robert?
Oh, hi, everyone. Thanks. I'm Robert Stern with the Morningside Heights Community Coalition. Thanks for the brief time slot and moving me up. I appreciate it. I wanted to just speak briefly about an update regarding the zoning plan, and then a brief request from Community Board 9. So at the end of your last session before the summer break, the City Council Land Use Group presented to Community Board 9 the latest version of the Morningside Heights Planning Study. This was a version that was, let's call it another iteration, that was slightly modified from a couple of prior versions that had been submitted to city planning. There was some discussion. The City Council Land Use group went back, revised the plan, and then wanted the buy-in or just approval of the co-applicants to the plan. So MHCC, which is not a co-applicant, approved the plan, as did Borough President Mark Levine, who is a co-applicant, and Sean Abreu, who is a co-applicant, and of course the City Council, a co-applicant. But the summer intervened, and I'm using this opportunity to remind you that we're waiting for CB9 to just say, please go ahead and submit the latest iteration to city planning. That's really about it. Others have approved the plan, and I'm just drawing your attention to it. This would be for Chelsea Kelly, who's the director at the City Council Land Use Group, who's waiting for a reply. She sent a letter after reaching out to, I believe we reached out to Community Board 9, but also sent a letter to Victor Edwards as well, who said that he would reach out to you, Signe, and to you, Liz and Barry, but we haven't heard back yet. And so I'm here tonight to try to remind you, just send, if you could just send an okay to Chelsea saying, yes, please go ahead and submit.
Okay,
Really
yeah, since we were on break, I'm sure it got lost.
Yeah, I thought we did.
I thought we did.
Sorry. Yeah, I thought we did.
So do you have
Okay, well-
Chelsea's email? I can send that to you, and if you could just take care of that as soon as possible, because she's preparing the application yet again to submit to city planning. Audrey, obviously you're on the call, so you're attuned to a lot of this, I hope. And then we will hopefully campaign from that point on.
Okay, we have a question from Clayton.
Just a quick question. Is this version publicly available?
So the Morningside Heights Planning Study is on the website. The latest iteration, I don't believe, has been updated to the website.
Okay, Robert, just to be safe, send us her information by email and we'll,
I will do that.
prioritize it. Yeah, we'll prioritize it. I'm sure it got lost in the scheme of things or.
Right, I appreciate that very much. And then, right, and then of course, we'd love to update you as we proceed with city planning, and hopefully this year we will move forward on this. Thanks very much, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Robert, for keeping us on our toes.
Okay.
Sometimes we need it. All right, take the spotlight off him. Spotlight. Okay,
Next is legislation.
yes. The only thing I had was, Anita mentioned a couple things regarding HDFC's Until program. She said that, it was, wait, who was it? Was it Rather? Was that with Senator Cordell Blue, maybe? Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking up an email, guys, hold on.
But in the meantime, if anyone else, so we're at the section where we talk about any local, New York City, statewide, or national legislation that could impact housing that we should be following, that we could write a resolution in ideally in support of something that's going through. I don't know if anyone has heard of any new legislation over the summer.
So, and here's the email from Anita. It is City Council Housing and Buildings meeting is on October 8th. Chair being Councilmember Pierina Sanchez. Staff member Ban Rather said that her office is working on a bill to address TPT reform and HDFCs. Thought maybe we could, I reached out to him, Mr. Rather, to ask if maybe he can update us on what that is, since we have a very high concentration of those in our neighborhood.
That would be great.
We would like to know what's going on. And then she mentioned also, Miss Quigley from Abreu's office. They were looking to correct the error of on a bill to correct the error of including HDFCs in AEP. All right.
AEP.
That I'm trying to remember. It's also a bill releasing HDFCs from their expired 60/40s, which would be good. I'll remember it at some point. We have a lot of, different kinds of AEP, HDFC, all the acronyms. We actually do have an acronym thesaurus, or like an FAQ that we have handy that we need to make sure everybody gets. And if you're new to the committee or as a community board member, knowing all these acronyms can be a little overwhelming at first. So please do ask, like Clayton just did. And if I can remember it, I will tell you. And if Liz can remember it, she will tell. If any of us can remember it, we'll tell you. But acronyms are very hot in cities, the city agencies and cities, as well as community board work.
Yeah. But it's a good note to not feel like, you don't know what you're hearing. We all forget what these acronyms stand for.
Yeah. And if I don't have a full
Too many of
thesaurus or a full dictionary of acronyms, we'll keep working on it.
I think that's it for legislation we're watching. So we'll move to C, developments we're watching, which there are many.
Yes.
And Ms. Caldwell, we can start with the development on
150th.
150th and Convent Avenue. Is it 640?
So it's 454.
Oh, 454.
Yeah, so
454 Convent.
Okay, so that is an as-of-right project, so they don't have to come officially before the community board on anything for this project. However, we do know some of the history of it. And if you don't know the history of it, we can kind of brief you on what we know. We've never had the developer. Yeah. Yes, Patricia?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to overtalk you. Someone came into the meeting, this afternoon in the Senior Action Committee with concerns about this particular thing. So I knew nothing of it, but Liz, I knew, I knew that you would understand it. So could just briefly explain to me what's going on? Is it is it owned by a church? Has it been approved?
We
Are
can,
we
and
gonna
we
have
will,
transient
right now.
people in and out of our residential area? And how it will affect those townhouses owned up and down Combin Avenue.
We can tell you what we know, Ms. Caldwell, absolutely. And I will tell you what I know of the history of it and what I know of it. So that piece of land, that building, used to be a retirement home for nuns. And it was, I think, 2010 when they inhabited that building. I actually knew some of the nuns because I live on 150 Broadway area and spent to Amsterdam, and they used to come out until the very last one was in a wheelchair and was no longer with us. And so it basically retired its use because all the nuns disappeared. At that time, I believe the diocese probably still owned it, right? And they sold it in, I think it was 2019. We didn't know anything of that sale. That is something they did on their own, and they sold it to a group called ACMH. I actually have the website up on my computer and I can share it so you know who they are. It is a nonprofit. It is an organization that works with transitioning previously homeless folks with also with mental illness in there and permanent housing for them to have a new life. So that is what the nuns, the diocese, sold it to in 2019. That organization, actually, there's also a connection to 1727 because Heritage Health, which has been kicked out of 1727, has another building, and this organization was in that building. So now Heritage is moving to their other building out of 1727, moving to that. We learned about this when we had 1727 development in front of us. And they're moving to their other building on, I think it's 141 in Amsterdam. And that organization was in that building and they had to move out. They found that out, obviously, in 2019. Before we knew anything about 1727, so we know it was in the books way earlier than we ever did. And so they knew they would have to leave that location. They bought this location from the diocese, the nuns, and that is who now owns that site and has been working on redeveloping it. They made changes to the inside mostly. The nuns had already refurbished it at one, in 2010 or whatever it was. And then when it was retired from that use, they have been doing work on that. I've been watching it as I walk by. And that's what they've been refurbishing that building for. I'm assuming they're redoing the inside to work for their purposes, for their programming, and for their housing. And that is the update that I know. Liz, any additions? Anybody else have additions to that story? That's what I understand. I will try and find the website and put it on the screen.
I don't want to cut Ms. Caldwell off from telling us what you've seen there, but I think at a minimum, we can invite them to present a future committee meeting, ideally in October.
This is the organization that owns the building.
See if Patricia has more to add.
Ms. Caldwell, do you have anything else? I think she just wanted to know the history.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I really do. This sounds the same way that as the same issue that we had on the corner of 145th Street and Amsterdam Avenue, when we were not informed that these people that have a social evaluation would be in our neighborhood. And because we are zoning use, I have nothing against these people, people who have these issues, but they also present additional problems. This is a working class neighborhood here on Sugar Hill. People have worked very hard to have a peaceful neighborhood. Why cannot, since we already have put these places on Amsterdam Avenue or in main thoroughfares, Why must we have one of these within our neighborhood, around our children and retired people who have worked very hard to live in very nice neighborhoods? And I say this because I've worked as an administrator in one of these transitional housing locations. This is not ideally, this is not a good situation. What can we
Got
do?
it. We are going to ask this ACMH to come join us in October to let us know what their programming is and what their plan is at that site. Again, they're not required to come for community boards, so sadly, you know, we're not always abreast of the situation. But once we are, we can certainly ask them to come, and that's what we're doing now.
Okay, Liz, I just want to. I'm gonna be. You know me. I'm gonna be really blunt about it. We're in this neighborhood here, and basically a lot of things that we get here is thrown in our lap, and we must accept it. But I think that the people of this neighborhood here on Sugar Hill have worked very hard, and we should have a say before they come in and not tell us what you're going to do, but we should have some influence as rather do we want them here, and what effect will they have on the property value of some of the most expensive property in New York City, which is Convent Avenue, where those people own their townhouses. I think that we not get a result. I think that they should inform us, and that we should know, and that in zoning, that it should be zoned on a main thoroughfare and not within our private within the community.
I would love to have that happen, to require them to come before us if they, you know, are doing supportive housing. That is a big picture question of the fact that we are all concerned about the saturation in this neighborhood, the saturation that we have.
Four projects.
There's more than that. There's more than that.
Is there a reso that can be drawn up? Because I think that this is a very big problem.
Yeah, we have a specific to that is something that probably has been due. Yeah. We've been doing individual projects, and certainly putting our way in on individual projects we do become aware of. But there are more, and I'm gonna go through the list in a second.
And Audrey from DCP is here. I mean, I don't know, you know, if someone could sponsor legislation, but I would agree. We have so much either proposed or current supportive housing in this district that it really is oversaturated. And there should be a mechanism to avoid the continuing.
I see Heather has had her hand raised for a little bit.
Yes, may I please speak? I just want to give some additional background. Members of my committee especially, if you recall, back in February of 2023, 1649 Amsterdam Avenue did come before our committee with that building that was too thin. It was a very narrow building. And they spoke about how they had to displace 40 rooms on the second and third floors, and they were subletting to New York City housing partner ACMH.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah,
yes.
That's the one.
And so this did come up in our, in our committee, and they did express that they would be transfer, or that their partner would then transfer those 40 rooms or so to the Convent Avenue location.
Right. So we're not gaining any more supportive housing. They're moving supportive housing. I guess that's the way they would see it, right?
So I guess my question
is we did a community and I included that specifically in our letter of support, so that when issues like this come out, we did know that people from that building were going to be moving onto Convent Avenue, and there were like 40 rooms. And so that just gives you all an idea as to how many rooms.
That's background.
Okay.
Yes, got it.
And I have that in, and I can forward that again to the members on, my
I would
committee.
appreciate that, Heather. Yes.
I'll do that, Ms. Caldwell.
Thank you. Thank you.
And at that time, we were dealing with 1727 and it sounded like,
Yes.
okay, well, they're moving from.
They
one
were
location-
displaced and now they had to displace the people from ACM and then they moved to their location.
Exactly. So ACMH is simply moving from one location to another. We're not adding more units. We're simply placing some that were already here to another location, if you want to look at it like that. So that's
You
kind
can
of
look
what
at
the
it, but
But
that's a very
still,
large building.
oh yeah, we weren't,
still
and we
dealing with the
we asked a
oversaturation.
lot of questions, and sometimes people get upset that we asked too many questions, but that's the only way we knew about that location on
Yeah,
150th
exactly.
and
That's the
Common
only reason I
because
knew.
we
Yeah, that's the only
asked
reason we.
underlying questions, and I made sure to put it in the letter of support so that we all would remember when this time came.
Yep, yep. And that's what I remembered as well, Heather. So thank you, thank you. Okay.
I'd like to get with the information. I'm just gonna read through a little bit, but I still must say that if it's only 40 units, that's a rather large building. A building of that size, if they were housing families and not people with socio-psycho evaluations, these are mentally ill people. You understand, without their medications or whatever the situation, this leaves an explosive situation in in a very nice residential community. I think that it needs to be discussed, and I think that we need to really look at what this is. If it's only 41 units, then what are they going to do with the rest of what it seems to be? They have an additional 45 units in that building because it's on the corner. So I think we really need to discuss that
It's
because
not a very big building, so I would say 40 is probably what they're doing, but yeah.
okay. Well, I
Sounds
don't
like-
know, so I'll
yeah.
just look at it and I'll get back if
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that said, moving on from this, because we want to get out of here by 8:30, so folks who want to watch the.
Yes, thank you
event.
thank you for hearing me.
But we will talk about a reso about the oversaturation in our.
Thank you, Liz, thank you so much.
Okay, so the next one I have on the list, Liz, is 640 Riverside, which has been on our radar for a long time. This is
only a decade or.
only a decade. I remember going into the lobby with April and fighting to get them to have their apartments get over from Till to HDFC and all of this. And now you had involved that did the refurbish, and now they have a huge amount of debt.
Yes,
So-
so they were never until, they were.
They were never until, okay. See,
Third part, well.
my memory,
They were
it
third
was.
party transfer.
That's what TPT.
They're owned by a landlord, they were given to Settlement House You Have, who basically wasted an astronomical sum of money that now the shareholders are on the hook to repay. And the shareholder, I understand it that You Have was severely pressuring tenants to sign paperwork to convert to shareholders in an HDFC, which usually is the end goal. But in this case, many of these folks are giving up rent stabilized or rent controlled apartments. That they have a right to rent at a certain level that only get raised by, the rent guidelines forward rate, and that have significant protections in their leases. And they're converting to owning shares in a corporation with an enormous, like $20 million at least worth of debt on it. And You Have is waving their hands and saying, it's fine, you'll get Section 8. Well, not everybody qualifies for Section 8. So if you don't qualify for Section 8 because you work, you have too high an income, your rent could go up from $800 a month and you could wind up paying $2,000 a month in maintenance fees. And, the second thing is, yes, you're owning your apartment or you're owning shares in the cooperative that owns your building. But if you own a building worth $15 million, and there's $25 million worth of debt on it, you just took on your proportional share of $10 million of debt with no equity under it. And so this is a very serious issue. I know a lot of folks have followed it throughout the years. There's been a lot of difficulty with, various tenants accusing one another of things and not being unified, which has made it.
That was a big part of what we tried to do in that building, was get them to unify, and it was difficult.
It did not happen.
It did not happen.
And so I don't know what the update is, other than that you have, I think, is trying to convert or thinks they have converted the building, but I mean, the Attorney General should really get involved, because the Attorney General is required to sign off on any cooperative offerings as part of the office's responsibility. And, you know, this is, you've got good argument for fraud against Shootout and HPD Oxford.
Did the AG sign off on that or?
I don't know.
But there's some of those.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up,
Accurate.
red herring, right? Is that what they're called, the building offering?
Red herring?
Yep,
Offering memorandums are called that, I forget how much.
yeah, and then there's a black something or other, right? Once they. I'm seeing a letter here from the Attorney General's office in January 2020. Dear sponsor, the referenced amendment to the offering plan for the subject premises is hereby accepted and filed.
Well, someone should still contact the Attorney General.
How do we move this forward? It seems like we should.
I mean, is there a tenant who wants us to move forward?
Wait, this came up because Vic sent us an image of people in the lobby rallying, it looked like.
Is old, what building does Olga live in?
640.
640.
Yeah.
I think it would be good for.
Yeah.
Olga as a public member of this committee to.
I know a person in that building.
But they would have to have a body that goes to the Attorney General and asks them to help plead the case here.
And Olga is not with us tonight.
I don't think so. Olga, you on the line? No. Doesn't look like. Okay.
So let's put that on outreach for the next meeting.
Okay. Okay. Did you want to say anything about 421 West 154th, the building that it doesn't look like it's being torn down, but it's having major renovation done or something?
Yeah, no, I think Clayton looked it up in July, the row house
Being stabilized.
between Amsterdam. It's in a historic district on 154th between Amsterdam and Broadway, overlooking the cemetery.
Yeah.
And it had an alteration that was approved, and I think it's just for the interiors.
Yes. And Clayton looked it up for us. Thank you, Clayton. I see her.
So,
Information.
yeah, I don't
about
think there's anything to talk about there.
Okay, very good. Okay, so going back really quickly so that we can assess all the supportive housing projects we're looking at and put them maybe into a reso to talk about the saturation. Here's what a tally of what I have, and I don't want to rehash tonight. I just want to give you a sense of what we're looking at and that we can use this in our reso, to talk about. And it needs a bigger conversation, and maybe this is a separate meeting and topic to talk about, but we've got 1727 Amsterdam. At the moment, I don't have anything new to report other than we've got 2 resos about this matter that I can happily share and show everyone. The first one is our original one in June that proposed an alternate plan for them that we would support. That would be better for the community, we feel. And then another one, another reso that we did when the demolition permit came out. And I can share those on the screen, actually.
I am hearing that the electeds are circulating a joint letter supporting our resos to the mayor, to urge.
Oh, really?
the HHC to reconsider.
Okay. Well, that sounds positive for us.
Al Taylor is taking the charge.
That's great. That sounds like a positive. So we have 2 resos on this matter. If anybody wants to take a look at those, I can quickly, show you what I have here, but the original one is here from June 20th. It puts our on the record stance on this, which is quite long. That's from June, our original stance, giving them alternate ideas on how we could use that space better, if it comes down. And then September, when we saw the demo permit coming in. So we'll see where elected officials land on this, sounds like. I also got from Andres, thank you, Andres, if he's listening in the ethersphere, gave us a wonderful just breakdown of the facts on this development leading up to today. Ever since 2013. So this is where the RFQ went through. And going up to now. So that's also a nice thing that if anybody wants to take a look at that, maybe I'll send out these 3 documents by our MailChimp email and just make sure everybody has an update, because we're getting lots of questions and it's hard to explain 10 years of history to someone who wants to know and is very anxious about it. It's hard to talk about it in 5 minutes with someone when you're walking somewhere. It's a lot. So happy to share this, and please share it with others so that they are well informed about the project, well informed about our involvement of, what we've been saying about it and our stance. Okay, so that's one. The next tally, Child's Memorial. So Child's Memorial, I'm trying to put a recap of that together as well. Barry's looking at me like, oh my God. This is a building that used to have the church where Malcolm X was service and all of this took place. So it's got a big history that is important for our neighborhood. But that church itself was raised in 2017, I want to say, somewhere around there. The promise was made by a developer that the church would get another location when they redeveloped it. They sold it to a developer to develop with the idea that the church would return in the 1st floor and basement. They are working with a developer. The developer, we're going to put a recap together for this one, but long story short, the Attorney General got involved because there was some strange happenings on with the leader of the church. That has been resolved, so to say, but in that resolution, the Attorney General required that the developer build this within 2 years so that the church gets their new space. We had a possible possibility that an agency that we would like to work with and see do positive
They were
things.
in contract, they had the
They were
deposit
in
placed
contract.
down.
The developer that we would like to see take over had a deposit on it. All of this was happening. And then the Attorney General said, nope, now work with the developer they have and make it happen in 2
The
years.
office was perfectly happy to fuck that up while ignoring 640 Riverside.
So needless to say, we're not happy that the Attorney General did that. But that put the developer in a spot that they were forced to continue on with the project as it had originally been put forth, which is a homeless shelter for, it's meant for mothers and their family or expecting mothers.
Yeah.
And it's studios, all studios, maybe. Did we ask for family units? We actually asked, we got family units. I can't remember the details. I need your help on this.
We got some like 3 to 5 2-bedrooms and a number of 1-bedrooms.
So the developer came to us asking, what can we do to make the community better with this and to get this done? And when they came to us, we said, well, we want bigger units and family units and the things that we want to see in our community. And so they they said, okay, well, we can do 3 to 5 family units. All right, well, it's better than what we had before, but not ideal. And then they also have another building on Amsterdam that he's devoted what to 100% or?
Yeah, the
afford-
units will be brought into affordable housing levels.
Yeah,
As
so
they turn
from
up.
market rate to affordable.
Right, it will go from market rate to affordable.
So one building that he owns on the same block, almost same block, it's a couple blocks
It's
away,
on the
right?
same side of Amsterdam, it might be
Yeah.
1 block up or 2
So
blocks
he's
up.
gonna take that from market rate, put it, that was another thing he agreed to. And the other thing was a community benefits agreement kind of pot of money. That'll be, what is a $250,000?
Yeah.
Towards supporting affordable projects, whatever the community board wants
Yeah,
to see happening or the
community
community wants, and that's the community.
The idea was to set that up with the New York Community Trust so that it would be kind of a advised fund similar to the Morningside Heights Community Fund.
Okay,
And CB9 would be the advising body.
yeah.
But New York Community Trust ultimately would have authority.
So Barry, I need your help putting a quick recap on that.
I have a question, if I may.
Yeah, Ms. Caldwell.
The Attorney General that you're speaking of on this situation, is this Letitia James?
Yes, that is our one and only, yep.
Okay, so we're not talking of the United States, we're just talking about New York State.
We're talking about New York.
Yeah, and then, when we have that agreement, are we talking about them finally, accepting, subsidized housing, certificates as in Section 8 or whatever?
No,
Or whatever, is that, for housing?
The agreement, this is about 1763 Amsterdam, which is the former Child's Memorial Site.
I know where it is.
Well, I just want, so the Section 8 thing was about 640 Riverside Drive. This is about 1763 Amsterdam.
And my
they-
question is, what is the agreement that will give them extra money, that will give them the monies from the community? Are they guaranteeing that they're gonna have a certain amount
No,
of
no.
subsidized?
No.
They're giving money
The
to
developer
us.
is giving money to us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so here's how it's working. The
Mhm.
developer owns the land, they have an obligation to construct a building that contains a space for a sanctuary for the church.
Okay,
They are seeking to get a contract and a homeless shelter provider from the city's DHS, Department of Homeless Services,
Mhm.
so that they can then borrow money to construct said building, which will then be operated as a homeless shelter or transitional housing, I forget which, I think it's transitional housing, but whatever.
Yeah.
And so that will obviously be for homeless mothers with children or
Mhm.
families with children.
Yes.
And then the separate piece to this, in order to secure our agreement and support for this, which I will note, this administration required them to obtain before they would sign off on these homeless shelter contracts. They agreed to take another building that the same developer owns and essentially make it affordable to lower the rents of the apartments to, I think it was 80% of AMI.
Under DHS.
Nope, this is just an agreement with the community board, not under DHS. And then they were also establishing a community benefits fund.
Oh, that was also with the changing that other smaller building, part of that thinking was that some of the women and children could
transition
into
over. Yeah.
permanent, affordable.
Yeah, it's not a big building, but.
No, it's not a big
another
building,
option
but
of
it's-
transitioning.
Right, it's permanent affordable housing, which is what we.
Which we're very much in favor of family,
Yes.
And so,
supporting family mothers, all of this.
so the only
But
public.
the studio thing,
Yeah, the only we objected to the thought that there would be single families with children in studios, reasonable objection.
Right.
But the only public money involved is the contract with the Department of Homeless Services.
Okay.
And presumably maybe some tax credits, I don't know.
Mm.
But
okay,
Okay,
thank you for helping me.
thank you.
Yeah,
And
so,
that would be nice to have those 41 units subsidized by this contractor. Yeah.
all right. So, that is 1763 Amsterdam Child's Memorial, as we call it.
Mhm.
Moving along, then we have the, well, 141 in Amsterdam, Heritage is moving to that. So we should, just keep that on our radar, but that's really just them moving from one location to another
You
and,
want to take down what
oh, sorry. Yeah,
showing up there?
yeah, sorry. Taking down,
No, I can't. This one.
no, it's this one.
Oh.
I don't know which computer I'm working on. There we go. Okay, so moving along, just keeping an eye on, so Heritage Health is moving from 1727 to their other building, and they'll be filling that building out. And that will be services that we don't want to lose, that were at 1727. Then we have the 2 hotels on 145th Street. I have no new information on that. There is an article in Patch and Columbia about the fact that AIDS Foundation has bought it. They came to our meeting last year. Was it last year? And told us they don't know what they're doing with it exactly yet. So they were open to ideas from us, but I've not heard anything more since. So they were using it. Oh, Yuen has her hand raised. Yuen, do you have any information on that? Or do you have another thought?
It's a legacy hand.
Or is it a legacy hand, Yuen?
Yeah.
Yuen, if you can't unmute right now, just let us know when you can.
Has anyone
I don't
recently
know what,
lost?
can you hear me?
There we go. We can hear you.
Yeah, my computer, no, it's a comment regarding the Heritage Building that they're moving into at, between 141st and 142nd. We should really make a note on the, not only are we watching that project, right? When they move back into that building or have renovated, the building, but I think it's important for us to watch the displacement of those 2 businesses, especially the deli, which is very important to the community and to the school, and to see what we can do in terms of convincing them not to have the services on the ground floor, but to move them inside and up. Otherwise we're going to have the same issues that we're having now, with people hanging out, waiting to be seen or whatever. And, it's just not a very nice situation. In addition to the fact that we are losing so much of our commercial space, spaces on Amsterdam, and it's now becoming our social services corridor.
It's not a bad thought. And
I'd like to make a statement on that. As a church and as clergy, that is what has been keeping this community in order. As a matter of fact, they, according to the First Amendment, they have a right to have that space. They've had it before, and in this historically preserved neighborhood, they have a right to have a church on the ground floor. There are a lot of older people and people who need to access the church for the services that.
I'm not talking about the church, Mr. Caldwell. I'm not talking about the church.
Child's Memorial.
No, we're not talking about that anymore. She's talking about Heritage Health that's moving to 141, 142.
My mistake, my bad. I apologize. I was wrong. I thought you were talking about Charles. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, there's so many. Oh, trust me, you're not the only one confused by all the developments.
I won't touch the churches.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Point taken, UN, that, services be lifted up to beyond the ground floor so that we don't have people hanging out as much. It's a thought. The only other developments we're watching, unless other people have something.
I have a question just before Audrey goes.
Oh, yes, Audrey?
Did we have any update on that building on 153rd? Between Broadway and Riverside by chance?
Jose didn't submit an update in the email.
Sorry, on 153rd?
Yeah, there was a conversation, I'm not sure if you were on that, but it was with Jose. about, the new development on 153rd Street and the questions of, how the zoning, came together for that project.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think that I was not there for the original conversation, I don't think, but was looped into it at some point. Let me follow up on that because the last I heard that he was talking to the Department of Buildings to try to get clarity on that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me follow up and I'll let you know.
It was like in the middle of city, yes, craziness.
Yeah, right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
these emails are from July 26th, was it's the last communication about it.
It was last week.
It was last week. So along that, the lines of some other things that Audrey might, well, she probably knows that they've all been approved, but 135th and 11th, we had a reso that the Amtrak building. We had a reso that pretty succinctly said, no, not in our neighborhood and not happening, but CPC has approved and Mark Levine has put a approval with conditions. So,
When does it go before the council?
don't know that.
You
It's
haven't
in
pulled
like
up?
the 50-day, like the 60-day window right now.
Yeah.
Amtrak.
Yes,
That's happening.
So,
I think,
you know,
I mean, that's still a vein of hope, but you know, it's moving forward.
Amtrak is going to city
They-
council, is that what you said?
No, they still need to get approval from Amtrak, which, you know,
hold on,
How-
where?
How could it be going forward when it's not approved by the
It's-
community
it-
board?
and that's a good question, Ewan, because we're advisory, but
We're advising him, Mark Levine has supported them from day one.
That's true.
yeah, he's the one that kind of helped them find a way to make it work.
Absolutely.
So
That,
Barry's looking something up right now, but I say moving forward simply that CPC has given the approval. That doesn't mean Amtrak's given the full approval or anything. So there's still, it's not moving forward in that it's happening. It's moving forward in that they're doing the parts.
Developer has always claimed that they have Amtrak support, and Amtrak has always said that they do not.
Yeah, there's a discrepancy between what the developer says and what Amtrak says.
But the, you know, look. There have been other times when Mark tacitly or explicitly supported developments that the community board opposed, and. You know, we just have to make sure the community is aware of what's happening and knows of all of their opportunities to present their
Yes.
thoughts and feelings
So
on the proposal.
what is the next opportunity for us to voice our opinion on this? Because we've done our reso.
So the CPC vote was August 21st.
Yeah.
And the city council review, has 50 days, after that date, or the date by which that they received the report, to hold a hearing and to vote on the application.
So it's in city council review for the next however many days. Since August 21st, it's got 60 days.
So basically, we need to watch, well, we need to have our staff and watch Legistar closely to find out when the next, because the state meeting's at the end of the month. I forget what day, maybe Tuesdays or Wednesdays, the zoning subcommittee on zoning and franchises. That's where the public hearing will be held at the council level. You know, last time when a similar topic came up about 142nd Street, half the neighborhood showed up and testified. Just
and
flyers.
including that kid. Oh my God, I don't even know who that was anymore. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
So
Just a little code for the record.
oh, we didn't stop it.
So flyering that area right before the public hearing would be the action item.
And spreading the word, letting
And
folks
spreading-
know, you know, like the gardeners.
Yes.
Yes. And anyone else who might have an interest in it.
The park.
Yeah, the Riverside Parks Conservancy was not a fan.
Not a fan.
But yeah, we need to just make sure everybody knows there are opportunities to give public input.
Yeah, that's what we do as the community board, is make sure everybody knows how their voice can be heard. We are the grassroots level.
We've been reaching out to Amtrak.
We already have.
And
They say, well, we haven't spoken to this developer.
It's on the agenda for September 12th.
September 12th.
Jesus, that's Thursday.
On the city councils in Georgia?
On agenda, 9/12/24.
Can you send that?
Yeah.
Or the attachment?
That's this,
Yeah, it's this
yeah.
Thursday. I mean, right when we're starting up again, of course.
Yeah, and also Thursday, FYI, I went to a meeting last night in Washington Heights. SBAT is still at it, trying to, rename that section with references, yeah.
But he cut our area out, we understand,
Yeah,
right?
but just as how we pushed back down here, they're pushing back up there, saying that it's a multi-ethnic community, and why should it be called the Dominican cultural?
They're welcome to take our statement on the matter.
If it's above 155th, I have no opinion.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They can ask the office for our official reso and all of that we did.
Yeah, I'll tell them, but I mean, this is outside of the community board. Do you know what's happening with Javier's project on Amsterdam? Because I heard that demolition had started. And 150.
152 or whatever, Harlem
Yeah,
Collective.
that used to be a stable and the work.
Oh, the stable is a different one. Are you talking about the stable's on 150? Are you talking about the two buildings on
right,
Amsterdam?
the collective, workspace.
Yeah. It was Harlem Collective and the health building that he tore down.
Health? I don't know.
It was like a doctor's office or something. Yeah.
And what is he planning to put there?
I think it's housing, market rate housing.
And that's as of right?
Completely. Private developer.
That's me. Barry.
No, that's the airline.
Oh dear. Are there any other developments that we've been watching or? Yes, Anna.
There was that building on Convent, yeah, it was a private, the owner was not taking care of the.
Oh, that, yeah.
Lisa Silverstein, yeah.
Yeah, Yuen knows a lot about that, but, well, that building has been torn down, right? And now it's 2 lots, but they're owned by different people. So they, we need to watch it carefully for sure, but I haven't heard any updates on it,
I saw Willie Suggs on the Zoom. Maybe she has some update. Is she still there?
Yes.
Because she has a relationship with the owner. Yeah. Okay.
Oh. She stepped
Okay.
out. Convenient.
And also the Convent Avenue Baptist Church building that was tentatively scheduled for demolition.
Oh, what happened with that building that Convent Avenue was?
Where, do we know what's?
Which?
That demolition lifted and
They were gonna take, the city was threatening to tear it down and.
Oh, no. I spoke to Deacon or Mr. Crook, and they're not demolishing it. It's in the, it's in.
Convent is not interested in demolishing it. The City Department of Buildings is attempting to force it to be demolished. And not to get into too many gory details, there's been a lot of back and forth between their engineers and the Department of Buildings. There's still a lot of back and forth. There is some question as to whether the DOB is engaging in good faith. more to come, but like they remain engaged. They've had like 4 iterations of plans that they've submitted that DOB has said no. So
As a member, as clergy at Common Avenue Baptist Church, I'd like to speak on that behalf.
Yes, Ms.
The
Caldwell.
intention of the church is to renovate that building and to
Right.
keep the property. The decision to demolish that building has been lifted and is on hold. We are currently in negotiation with the Department of Buildings, and we are ready for awaiting their approval to see what they will approve that we might keep that property.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is unclear as of now, but it is definitely being discussed, and the decision to demolish that building has been stayed.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well, Ms. Caldwell, and I was told that they hope to start renovating the building in the spring of next year.
That's right.
Yeah. But
we
how
carry
could they
that.
demolish that building without some kind of a hearing or with, I mean, they're pissed because 144th Street Block Association complained about the homeless camping out in the building. They called the precinct, 144th Block Association, and they called the precinct in, and they've been pressuring the precinct to do something about the building to secure it because it was exposed in the back. And on a visit, the cops, although it has an X in the front of the building, the cops went in and fell through to the basement. So they're pissed about that. And that's
I understand your concern, and no, we do not want vagrants to be in that building.
right. It's secured now, Mr. Deacon Cook
I
or
quite
Mr. Cook
understand it.
secured it.
I'd
Yeah.
like to keep in mind as well as the property owned by the Common Avenue Baptist Church is a collective property owned by the congregation of Common Avenue Baptist Church. And that also the Department of Buildings has come into question because there are other properties that are in far worse condition that they have continue.
I agree. I'm with you.
For many
I'm with
years,
you.
but this property, they decided to demolish within 3 years, and other properties that are in far worse condition have stayed in existence for over 11 years in this community.
I agree with you. Yeah, what I'm saying is it's because the cops are pissed about having had an accident.
Ladies, we should move on, but let's just understand the demolition of this building has been stayed until the church's plan is approved by DOB. A plan is approved.
Okay.
So that's our understanding.
Yes,
moving along, that's all I have under developments we're watching. Yeah. Moving along. Public member updates. I think Jared's the only public member on, but just a shout out that we do have what we call public members that are not on the community board, but members of our committee as public members. They apply to do that, and they help facilitate the committee, facilitate the needs of the committee. You know, if we have events and things like that, we always lean on our public members to help us out. So some of them are subject matter experts. Some of them just are good at helping us organize things. We need them desperately. We need everyone desperately to help us do things like flyering, do, you know, work like some sort of workshop or forum on housing and land use and zoning for the community, because that's how we get the word out about what's going on. All of that stuff we need help with. So if you're interested in being a public member or helping in a little bit more of a way that can really help us out and keep the business going, let us know. Otherwise, I don't have any other public member updates unless Jared has any. And he's shaking his head no. All right, cool. Next item is NYCHA. The only thing I have there is we are looking for someone to attend PACT meetings. I think WEACT has been putting these on for NYCHA, PACT meetings, and go to the meetings and listen and bring back updates.
I think West Harlem Group Assistance.
Is it West Harlem Group Assistance?
WEACT would not be doing.
I was confused why it would be WEACT.
WEACT may be involved, but not
Yes.
on behalf of NYCHA.
Okay, so it's West Harlem Group Assistance. I was getting my acronyms wrong as usual.
No, it's WEACT is probably involved.
Probably
just
involved
on the other side of that.
So we are looking for someone to attend those meetings. I haven't seen our new member, but maybe this new member is interested and willing. We have Divine Essence White. Haven't seen her yet and haven't gotten any response yet from my emails. So I'm hoping we have
when.
the NYCHA meetings, I have to double check that, Annette. I think it was like a Wednesday.
Send me an email, I'm not volunteering.
No, I understand. But if we can't get someone, if we can't get someone from our committee, maybe there's a member of the public, or maybe there's another community board member that's not on this committee who would be willing to go and just report back on what they say and listen in and let us know what the feeling is and what people are saying. That's all we need.
That new building is atrocious. I walked by it as I was coming here.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Understood.
It's atrocious. It's atrocious. Sorry.
No, I mean.
The tenants agreed to it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
It's not their
No, it's
fault.
not their fault, but
No.
But we should demand better design from these people. Sorry.
yeah.
I don't wanna hold it up. Yeah, it's bad. Go take a look.
Okay, so we do need someone to attend those meetings and report back. We are looking for someone, if not on this committee, then maybe another member of CB9 or a member of the public that would be willing to do that. I will send it to you, Annette, in case you find anyone within the NYCHA world that might be interested enough to do that for us. RKO Hamilton Theater Task Force, I have nothing there. We need to take April out to lunch.
It's,
Dinner?
yeah, it's dead right now, but, we are still looking for, someone to chair, the RK Hamilton, task force. I think there are still, people with plenty of knowledge that can connect the right person to lead that group. And I think it's still, a priority for the community.
Yeah, I mean, there's
board.
no big action on that right now, simply because the developer is not moving anytime fast on that. We have been giving the developer ideas on what we want to see and giving them incentive to perhaps work with the community board and the community on a vision we would like to see for that. It's going as far back as 7 years, I want to say, with our kind of visioning meetings that we had and brought to them, and they said, listen, we're not doing anything else with it, but until we can get the money, raise the money to make it happen, then.
So we have an idea of someone on the community board who we think would be a good person, but if anyone online or in the room can think of someone who might be good, maybe themselves, please let us know.
Is that the developer or the owner? What are we talking about? I thought the developer had
Ashkenazi is owner developer.
the
right?
owner, right? And I thought the developer
But
only
they develop
had
as
a
well, but-
contract for
We,
a certain.
I'm misspeaking, I guess. They're the owner,
Yeah.
but we're looking for
Yeah.
someone to help develop.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
you are correct, someone bought an option on the place.
Right. And that
I don't-
expired, I think, already,
Yeah.
unless they renew it. But this is a project I'm interested in, so, I'll take, I'm not taking full responsibility, but I'd like to be involved.
Understood. You want to be on the task force when we can find someone to lead it.
You guys
think
are
about it.
Well, it's 8:10.
Thank you. And
You're
she's giving
almost
us our
there.
check.
You're
She's
almost
giving us our
there.
check. We have no action items, I'm just saying. So moving along, Till updates. Barry, do you know anything we should know about Till? If you cannot see Barry's reaction, it is a big eye roll and a Nodding of the head, no, back and forth,
Okay.
and biting of the tongue. And HDFC updates, other than what Anita sent on a couple of bills that are out there, that maybe we should take a look at. I don't have anything major on
Oh,
that.
I have something major. It may
Yes,
interest
please.
Folks to know that Harvey Epstein is running for city council to replace Carlina Rivera. And also there's someone running against him who lives in an HDFC,
Oh. Okay.
just of note.
Just of note. Interesting.
Who?
Okay.
Who is
What was that?
running?
Who's running?
I think Andrea Gordillo, I believe is his last name, hold on.
For what position? And
Gordillo.
who is Andrea Cordillo?
Carlina Rivera's city council seat, Harvey Epstein, bet noir of the HDFC community, is running for Carlina's termed out council seat on the Lower East Side. There is a young woman in an HDFC, Andrea Gordillo, who actually announced before Harvey was running. So just a note, just a thought, just an interesting observation.
Okay.
Okay. Film and TV task force update. So Ilana did a very mighty job of helping with that when we first got it started. If anybody's interested in film and TV task force to help lead and do anything on that, the only thing I'm going to say is that filming is picking up in our neighborhood. And this task force was a way to connect with the mayor's office on film and TV and make sure that we are heard and our voices are heard on if we're getting oversaturated in areas, if there are concerns or issues, or if we want to make sure that they are just benefiting the people in our neighborhood. I got a call from someone on Edgecombe, I believe, and down by St. Nicholas, they closed from what I heard in the call, it was like 6 blocks. Karen Ward Gamble called me and said, oh, they gave very little notice and they're gonna be here all night and they've taken up a lot of spots and nobody can find parking.
Has a pretty active block.
I know, well, I called her back and left a message and said, first of all, call the person on the notice, the production person, and let them know if you're having any specific issues on that moment. And then get a hold of the mayor's office to let them know that you are concerned about the amount of what's going on.
I think Yvonne Andre Marshall still at the Block Association for Edgecombe.
Oh, we know Yvonne. I know Yvonne.
We love Yvonne.
We love Yvonne.
And the previous notices given, especially in that, because that's the area I'm in. This is Sugar Hill. And they were blocking off a main thoroughfare coming off the bridge across the Coons Road Bridge across over to 155th Street, over and up St. Nicholas Place up to approximately 150th, is it? No. 51st, I'm on, like it's a main thoroughfare. So how does that approval work? Do they get that directly from the city or does that come through the community board or how does that work? I'm asking.
Nothing comes through the community board. It's permitting and all of that goes through the mayor's office.
I gotta go, my
Okay,
kid is.
thank you.
What I'm just gonna say about that is that it goes through the mayor's office of film and entertainment.
Yep.
So they have a whole process where they approve and there's like certain time that where the film companies are supposed to put up. They have guidelines that they have to follow. I wanna touch base with them because I don't think Josh, remember, I think his name was Josh, he was the contact, he was like a liaison. I don't know if he's there anymore. So take a donut, take a bag of donuts. I'm sorry, my kid isn't feeling well, so
You're good, hon. You're good.
But that's, it goes through the city. So I'm gonna touch base with the mayor's office.
It would be great to have them
That would
come
be
to a
great.
meeting again. now
Yeah,
that
we
things are
should
picking
have
up.
them come again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Awesome. And that was my note to invite mayor's office to meeting to discuss the uptick. Thank you.
What do I do?
They're very yummy.
Okay.
You're missing donuts, everybody online too. So many people online. We miss your faces. Y'all need to come. Oh, I see Mark Ergang is in there. We got Andres came on. A couple of new names came on. Hi guys. Oh, wow. That said, we don't have any action items tonight.
Great.
So unless anyone has anything online that wanted to bring up at tonight's meeting, that did not get addressed yet, you came in late or something, please let us know. Now would be the time, because the next item on the agenda is adjourn, and Annette might want to jump on that before
I
you.
move to adjourn.
One last call. Anybody have anything else they wanted to discuss?
I second it. I'm not part of the committee.
Oh, hi.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead,
doing-
go ahead. We're still here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Mark Ergang. Sorry
Hi,
about.
Mark. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good to see you.
You too. Just wondering if there's any update on the Morningside Heights.
We actually
rezone.
we had an update from Robert a little earlier, and he's by the way, Robert says he's just waiting on us. I guess we've not given our okay yet on the new.
City council?
I thought we did too, but he's saying we did not,
Well,
so.
we should check in with land use.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just have to give the okay for the most recent current presentation, proposal.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
Hi, Andres. All right. Going once, going twice.
Second.
Okay, that would be a motion to adjourn, seconded by Annette.
Unanimous consent.
And next meeting is October 8th. It's a Tuesday as well. Second Tuesday of the month, every month. We want to see you here. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot. Great meeting,
Getting
guys.
us out of here. I love you.